Deerfield Beach, Florida. Going down the boulevard here, Hillsboro Boulevard, and we're headed east to go down to the beach. Right now I'm testing the camera, the sound, and I already figured out I can't pair the 10 black with the module on the Trident 660, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but we'll work that out. to the end of Key West, which is south of the Florida Peninsula. Is this gorgeous or what? Look at this day. Palm trees, cool breeze, seagulls, and pina coladas. What more could you ask for? So let's take a look at the intercoastal waterway. There should be a lot of boats out today. It's a beautiful day. Bridges are not a lot of fun to go over on a motorcycle, but if you just ride like you normally would, there really is no problem. Typical on Sunday or Saturday of what the traffic's going to be like going to the beach in the afternoon. And I purposely went after 12 o'clock because that's when the traffic really gets bad, and also well, at 12 o'clock lunchtime, but it's also the hottest part of the day. So this building over here was built about 8 years ago, and that building, I think the apartments in there are over $1 million now. Of course, they were pretty reasonable when they first built them. And over here is a parking garage, and that's where you can park, because really on the beach at this time of day it gets really filled up. But really, you'll see that the parking on the beach is fantastic. And you'll see why in a minute. Now we're going to wind around to the left, then we'll turn right, and we'll actually be at the beach. Deerfield Beach is not so much of a tourist area as it is an area for the locals, but see, this kind of like filters in. So either you let people in, or they, you know, some of them try to run you over. This guy was nice about it. Now we've got this big transit truck in front of us. This little hotel over here has been there forever. Rumor has it that people have tried to buy that hotel numerous times, and the owner won't sell it. And the property itself is worth more than the building, but for whatever reason, he keeps that little hotel going. This is where young people like to congregate on the weekend and have a great time. You can be partially clothed, very clothed, or hardly clothed at all. The only thing you can't do is what they do in Europe, and that's like go naked on the beach. You can go naked on South Beach as long as you keep the bottoms on. But no taking off the bottom. And actually, it's not really legal to have the top off either, but they do it, especially when the tourists come from Europe. They can't really arrest them all, so they pretty much have to let them do what they want to do. So here we have the restaurants that are really popular. There's Whale's Rib on the left. There's a new place on the right called Burrito Social. Bob's Pizza's been there forever, and they also own Armani's. Then there's after Wells Rib, there's Flanagan. Flanagan's is a popular place for ribs, chicken, burgers, and dolphin sandwiches. So before you start screaming about the dolphin, you should realize that they're talking about the dolphin that's a fish and not the dolphin that's a porpoise. So people don't eat the porpoises, but people come down from New York and from the Northeast and they're like, oh my God, they serve dolphin here. And that's not really the kind of dolphin they're talking about. You can smell the weed already. That's not common, but the other smells here are sunblock, ocean air, and lots of sunblock smell. It's like just one giant waft of sunblock coming at you, and it actually smells good. It's like a coconut type of, yeah, I would say it was a coconut smell. Very coconutty. You see this barrier here, looks like burlap. That's to keep the sand from blowing off the beach, and also to keep the light off the beach at night, because this is turtle nesting and reproducing season. And what happens is the baby turtles will hatch at night, and they look for the stars, and that's how they know where to go, how to go out to the ocean. But if they see a lot of light, then they tend to go in the wrong direction. And this went on for years until the turtle activists said, hey, we have to do something. So all the lights have been taken down, and now you pretty much drive along and it's pretty dark. There's some lighting that shines on the ground. See if we can get a picture of it here. That post right there, and it's a yellow light that shines on the ground. So that keeps the turtles from going the wrong way, and it provides just minimal light. It's pretty romantic. There's lots of police here to protect you. I don't believe I've ever seen anyone getting harassed in all the years I've been coming here. The Deerfield police are pretty cool. The Broward County police are pretty cool. And when they say protect and to serve, that's pretty much what they mean. South down A1A, and that's the road that runs along the beach. They call it South Ocean Drive, and we're going to go left, and that's south. Of course, we don't want to stall out. I'm not really a novice, but I haven't been riding this bike very long. It has about 600 miles on it. It just had its first service. Now the speed limit along here is 30 miles per hour, and they mean 30 miles per hour. So if you're doing 35, there's a very high possibility that you're going to get a ticket. And the police like to hang out, and we'll probably see someone hanging out over here. And the reason is that there's a lot of driveways on this road, so people tend to pull out, and there's a lot of elderly people that live here. They kind of pull out, they don't see that well, so it's really for our protection that the speed limit is so low. But it also gives you the opportunity to appreciate the beauty of riding down this area and all of the foliage, the greenery. And here we have somebody doing 15 miles per hour. in their robe. Oh, there we go. Now we're speeding up a little bit. You have to have a lot of patience to live in this area. First of all, you have really bad drivers. You have old folks driving, and they take their time so that they don't get into an accident. A lot of motorcyclists like this part of the road. They really enjoy it. It's safe. You know, doing 30 or 35 miles per hour, depending on what part of this road you're on. I think we might, yeah, we're up to 35 now. People really like the fact that there's no traffic lights. And as you'll see, provided my battery stays on, because this is the first time I've hooked up my GoPro to ride with. There's beautiful water on the right, the intercoastal waterway. We're going to see some fabulous mansions on the left. And it's really getting expensive to live down here now. And when I say down here, I mean South Florida in general, but on the beach it's insane. The only reason I didn't buy property when I had the opportunity on the beach was because I had to work in the morning, and you had 2 railroad tracks and a bridge that could go up, which means typically I would have to leave an hour early at least to account for a bridge getting stuck or a train stopping or whatever might be happening. So I chose to live in a single family house on a lake, not far from the beach, not far from where I work. And that way I could be on time every morning. Being on time is a really big deal in corporate America, and I was certainly working in corporate America at the time. You can smell some kind of sweet flowers here. building on the right was built approximately 10 years ago, and it's built right next to this bridge, which is the inlet at Hillsboro Beach. And this is where the boats go out from this particular part of the peninsula. You can go all the way down to Miami. You can go up to Boca, but this is the inlet for here. Anyway, these are beautiful. They were pink when they built them, and they were really hard to sell because of the noise. First of all, there's a bell that rings, or used to ring when the bridge went on. The fishing boats would honk their horn to signal the bridge and let them know that they wanted to come through. I mean, it was, and then there's a bell that rings to let cars know. So the cars going over the metal grates are loud. So these things were just sitting there for a long time, and I think they're full now. I'm not sure, but it looks like people have put in beautiful windows. Now that particular unit on the end is far from the water and far from the bridge, so I'm going to assume that that probably was the first one to sell. They also have two views. They have a view of the Intercoastal Waterway, and then they have a view of the inlet. Well, I guess that's not the inlet, but this side of the road. The advantage of being on the other side of the building is you actually see the lake, which is prior to the inlet. You're going to see that as we come over the bridge. It's really something. There's a lighthouse here that was built in 1957 that still has the original crystal. And I once sat on a plane, I used to fly a lot, and struck up a conversation with a gentleman next to me, and he happened to be the repairman for the automated system and the crystal. And he told me some stories about that lighthouse and how there used to be a person in there that would turn it on and turn it off. There were sleeping quarters, and now it's all automated. And there was a condominium, not this one, but some others, that complained about the light at night because it goes not only on the ocean side but also on the land side. So they put a barrier on one side of the lighthouse to keep the light from shining on the building. Years later, that barrier is no longer there. I think somehow there was a countersuit or something must have happened. I'm just speculating. But now here comes the sailboat through the bridge. And so anyway, the lighthouse is restored to its original beauty without that barrier. He was telling me all about that. But the lighthouse, kind of a romantic thing, but it's also functional. When I went out on my boat, when it was raining or storming unexpectedly, which happens here in the Bermuda Triangle, even during the day, that lighthouse was a great reference point to let you know where the inlet was and how to get back. Well, they're really leaving this bridge open quite a long time today. Not exactly sure why, but I think we're going to move up to the front. That's a little bit better view. So over to the right here, you can see the water. This is the Intercoastal. There's a side canal, and then as you come under this bridge, that's what goes into the inlet area. And I am roasting, folks. You know, I mean, I like wearing gear. I like to be safe. You see a lot of people around here that don't have gear on, and you know, it only takes one time to change your mind about wearing a jacket, gloves, a helmet. We do not have a helmet law in Florida, so you don't have to wear a helmet. A lot of people go without one, but you know, I just think that life is too precious to take a chance like that. And if you've ever seen anybody who had hit their head a little too hard, it's very convincing. We're just going to turn off here instead of all the noise and wasting fuel. Try to figure out, I guess this bridge, maybe it's stuck. I don't believe I've ever seen it up this long before. But I just noticed, I think that might be a statue. If that's not a statue, and some kind of light. Oh yeah, there's the horn. There's the police boat. They have 5 different agencies that patrol at least. And when you're on your boat, you'll get stopped at least once every day. So you get stopped by the Deerfield Police, the Boca Police, the Coast Guard, Game and Fisheries, Broward County Sheriff's Office. And it's just almost inevitable that at some point they'll check you out and see if you have safety equipment, if you have the right flotation devices on board. And interestingly, you don't have to have any kind of license to operate a boat in Florida. No matter what, you know, if it's a private boat, you can operate it. You just have to be of age. So people don't know what they're doing. You get out here on a day like this when there's lots of traffic, and it's really not fun to try to navigate with all of these boats that may or may not be following the rules. And there are rules. I took a safety course when I started boating about 18 years ago. And thank goodness I did. Because at least you know what the rules are then. And, you know, like sailboats always have the right of way, for example. There's people that don't know that. Sailboats cannot maneuver as quickly as a motorboat can. So, let's fire it up. Get ready to go. Just last couple weeks, a lady got caught on the bridge, an elderly lady on a bicycle, and she was hanging on for dear life, and you saw how vertical this bridge can be, and unfortunately she did fall. Someone tried to help her, but the bridge operator got in a lot of trouble for that. So I don't believe that kind of thing happens very often, but it's kind of unbelievable that it does happen. They're supposed to come out and check the bridge before they raise it. Don't mind the noise. They are gorgeous apartments. Now we're gonna hang a quick left here, take a look at the beautiful inlet. I hope I still have a battery. So this is the inlet. And the boats like to dock here on the weekend. They can pull up on the shore, they can swim.